This is going to be a month of YouTube videos you will not want to miss. Please make sure to go to all the channels. Hey everybody, welcome to Big Valley Living. I'm Michelle, and this is the 30 days of preparedness, because in the United States of America, the month of September has been designated the Preparedness Month. So what are we preparing for in our house? Well, we already have a pretty decent supply of the foods that we like to eat, and some foods that we've canned, some foods that we've frozen ahead of time. Sometimes, like here's an example, I'll make spaghetti and I'll take that sauce and turn it into a lasagna or two for later meals. If I make one meatloaf, I'll make two meatloaves and throw one in the freezer. And that way, if I'm hungry or if I'm not home and my husband wants something quick to put in the oven, he can take those meals and put them in the oven. So we're pretty good on food. We're pretty good on water. We need to work on water, but we're in pretty good shape. We've got a freeze dryer, so we freeze dry some of our leftovers. Admittedly, I'm not a big fan of freeze-dried leftovers, but I have found foods that I really enjoy freeze drying. One of them, and it's coming into soup season, one of them being split pea soup. And I just absolutely love it freeze-dried because I can take as much or as little as I want, and I can make it as thin or thick as I want, and it's just the handiest thing in the world. So I do that, and I freeze dry our dog's food quite a bit, and that way I've always got a good supply of that. And of course we use kibble as a backup. My dogs will free feed all day long on kibble, and then we once in the evening we give them some either freeze-dried food, or sometimes I just make up a batch for a week and then they get that. So food-wise we're fine as well. Now what we're trying to do is we're trying to now get those things in order that we like to have around the house that will enhance any kind of emergency experience. One of them this month being a crank radio. So what we did was this month for our kind of our prep for preparedness, we went ahead and invested in a pretty decent, I'm going to say it's a good radio, and it's an Eton Quest. That is the radio that we have, and I like it so much. I'll probably make this what I offer on September 30th when I do the giveaway. We're going to have a few other things, and if you've been watching some of our partners that have been making videos this month, you will know that there's also a very handy book that's going to be coming from the Inquisitive Farm Wife. And I'm not going to say anything about any of the other prizes or giveaways that will help you prepare, but I'm pretty sure that you're going to see a few more over the course of the month. So at 3 o'clock on September 30th at 3 p.m. Pacific time, we're going to have a giveaway, and we will be giving away some fun things. So I want to go over some of the key features of this radio, and these are all the reasons that we purchased it, okay? It cost a little over $100. It's about $130. We actually picked this up at Bass Pro Shop, and it will, so it has, I just want to show it to you. It actually has a crank on it, okay? So we don't need to worry if we can't find batteries, which it also is battery operated. Oops, there it is. Down there is the battery case. Takes 3 AAAs, and it has, I'm not going to get all these things on here, I bet. I'm still learning about it. But it has a light back here that will turn on to be like an ambient light. It also has a little spotlight on the side. It will charge your electronic devices such as your telephones, and it has the 2 different jacks in there for you. We have an upgraded phone and it works fine for that. And you also have earphone jacks. Something else I like about it is that we have AM radio and we have FM radio, so we can just use it to listen to the radio. The antenna does a very fine job. It's got the old-fashioned retractable. It also is powered by solar if you need that, so that's cool. And I've tested all these power sources out and they all work just fine. So I'm real happy with it. The only thing that I'm going to bring to your attention is that it comes with a little booklet that helps you set up, you know, setting the clock and knowing what all the little parts are and what they do. But in that booklet, and it was a source of much consternation for me, in the actual little printed booklet that it comes with, when you're setting up your clock, it tells you to hit the menu button in a couple of places where, in fact, you need to do a different button. So I went online finally because I thought I was losing my mind. And I had my husband setting the time while I was reading the instructions from the company's website. And those instructions worked beautifully. So I noticed online that nobody has an introductory type of video for this radio. So I'm probably going to make a separate video that simply outlines how to set this radio up and how to use all of the jacks and everything else. That way in the future, if anybody else decides to get one and they have the same little instruction manual in there, they won't get stuck. But it is a really, really good radio. I'm very happy with it so far. Here's the little spotlight. I don't really want to shine it at you, but there's the little spotlight there. And it's just this real handy button. Now, here's the ambient light. Pretty cool, huh? And then also there's an emergency light, so it turns it red. And then we're off again. So it's multi-purpose, and if your power is out, or maybe even you have power, but your phones are out and the grid is down or something, this is going to be the way to go. So in addition to the AM FM radio, there's also a NOAA radio on here, and you can set alerts. So this is a really cool feature that I think is super important, because if there was some sort of emergency in your area, you know how you get those emergency broadcast notifications, I think it's like once a month or maybe once a quarter, where you hear an alarm and then it'll say it's a test. This is only a test of the emergency broadcast system. So this actually has a NOAA band on it, and you can go find the NOAA band for your area. So NOAA, you're wondering what NOAA is, right? If you're new at this, it's the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And you can get your weather on there. There's just so many pieces of information I can't begin to tell you. You can get news about fisheries. You can get information about satellites that you can get global information about. I'm just on their website right now. You can get weather for your specific area. In fact, I have that on my phone, and I just keep it up keep it on my phone as a matter of easy access. And you can see what the weather's going to be like for the next 7 days in your area. You can see the statistics and everything for how your day was. I honestly think that almost every news station probably confers with NOAA when they're putting their models together. There are educational resources and lesson plans, activities and opportunities for students. Get your kids interactive with it. You be interactive with it. You can, if you're on the coast, you can learn more about oceans and coasts, and you can get information about like tsunamis if that's a concern in your area, or maybe somebody that you love in their area. So there's hurricane information, all kinds of stuff. So I think I'll put a link to NOAA's website in the description for today's video. But this radio, in addition again to having the crank that I wanted to have, to having the solar, having batteries and everything, Having that NOAA alert system is invaluable to me. And another thing that we invested in, but I'm not going to go into many details today, is we actually got our own weather station for our house. That is something that my husband and I both have wanted to have for several years. So we took our September money that we would normally spend on things like maybe over-the-counter medications to have on hand over the year, which we have. We actually have enough to share with family and friends who live in our area in the event that they were to run out, and bandages and things like that. We took that money that we would normally spend on those items, we added a little bit to it, and because of the month that this is, it seemed like a good time to do it, and we wanted to get it done before winter came. We got the weather station and this radio. So again, I'll make a video separately about how to set the radio up, and if you end up buying a radio or winning it in the giveaway, you too will be able to look and see how we set ours up. I used it last night while I was doing dishes, and I just put on a jazz station and listened to that while I was doing it, because I just wanted to see, how long the crank would last. I have still not gotten it to the point where it stopped cranking. So it has a good life on the cranks. Let's see, I don't think there's much more to talk about on this particular unit. It is really heavy duty though, and I believe you can take it out in the water. I wouldn't drop it in the water, obviously. There's a lot of moving parts to it, but I would certainly recommend this radio. I'm really, really happy with it at this point. This was, again, roughly $130 at Bass Pro Shop. I will go and see if I can get the very same model on Amazon, and if so, I'll put a link to that in our description box. And if you order through us, you won't get a discount, but our channel will make a little bit of money for that will help us to enhance our videos. I'm going to actually keep the case that I have for it. It's pretty cool. It's heavy duty, and when the weather's not so bad, I'm actually going to remove all the batteries from it and just keep it in this case for safekeeping. And I'll probably put it into a cabinet where we keep extra flashlights, extra batteries, and then emergency-wise we keep candles in there, and we keep our matches and things like that in there as well, so that everything's in one compact spot in the middle of the house, and we can get to emergency lighting. I'm going to say one quick thing about emergency lighting. We keep candles in every room. We like the ambiance of a candle every now and again. So we always have candles that are ready to use in the event of a power outage where we need light right away. We also keep a flashlight in each room. If it's a shared room, we'll just find a drawer to put it in. And everybody in the family knows where to get it when they need it. So these are just kind of little things that you can do around your house that will help. And again, this radio is going to last us a long time. I had a real cheapo. It did have the weather station on it. I don't think it was NOAA. I believe it was just the weather station. And I bought that in 1998 before the turn of the century, because everybody was worried about the grid going down and computers going down and everything else. And we were much less dependent on the grid in the year 1999 than we are now. But we bought that radio, and then, of course, we're all here today. We all survived. But I used that crank radio. It also had a little solar panel on it. And I would use that in the garden. And it was good until 2015, and I actually left it in the garden, and we got kind of one of those rainstorms you're not expecting, and that's when it finally gave out. So I had that for almost 20 years, and I think I spent 20 bucks on that radio. At Bass Pro Shop, they also have a $30 radio, same company. It does have a crank on it, it does have the batteries, and it does have the solar, but it doesn't have the phone charger and things like that on it. Obviously it doesn't have these emergency lights, but if I'm not mistaken, it did have a little spotlight on it. So for $30, if $130 is not in your budget, for $30 you could get a NOAA worthy radio that you could set up your own alerts for your area. And then, you know, whenever they are thinking that there's going to be a storm coming, obviously that's when I'm going to keep this handy and keep it out, probably near the bed when we're sleeping and stuff like that, because this is supposed to come on when there's an emergency. So that's going to do it for me today. I hope that you're watching all the videos. We've seen an excellent gardening video last week from the Provident Gardener. Tomorrow you can expect to see something from the Provident Prepper. And then again on Wednesday of every Wednesday this month, you're going to see something from the Provident Gardener. And Tuesdays, you're going to see Provident Prepper for the rest of the month, with the exception of the 30th of September when we do our live giveaway. On Thursdays, you're going to see Two Doctors Homestead every week. On Fridays, you're going to see the Inquisitive Farm Wife with her Fearless Fridays, talking about all kinds of different things. On Saturdays, we're going to have a couple of channels that are going to alternate. Last week was Linda's Pantry, and she did a great video about pantries. And Angela did and talked about paper books that you want to have on hand. And then on Sundays, you're going to see the Needy Homesteader, and her video the other day was really good, and I know what all these channels are planning to share with you. I'm going to drop something. I have the playlist that I'm updating daily, and also there's a list of the channels that are presenting to you this month. All of these folks have been preparing for years and years. And so what you want to do is make sure that you gain their knowledge, share your ideas and tips in everybody's videos, because actually your comments on each video increase your chances of winning a prize on September 30th. So with that, I'm going to let you go. I hope this video didn't drag on too long for you, but you can never be over prepared. And we're going to show you different tools and tips and tricks and other things that we use throughout the year to keep our families safe and prepared, and we're hoping that you will do the same. Thank you so much for coming by Big Valley Living. I really appreciate you stopping by. I really appreciate you coming by the 30 Days of Preparedness. This was started a few years ago by Lisa Sutton at Sutton's Days, and I'm telling you guys, that gal is an awesome prepper. An awesome prepper. You need to go watch some of her videos on her channel as well. I highly recommend it. So have a great, great day. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of the videos that you're going to see this week. You're going to get something from every single one. I will guarantee you that. It is not a money back guarantee, because why? YouTube's free. So have a great night, everybody. See you later. And always remember, be kind.